It's dry hopped. It's one hell of a beer. It's back. Today we're drinking Lost Lager. Hi guys, it's Jim here from Dr. Tankenstein with another episode of Beers of the British Isles. As the lockdown eases across the UK, we're all expanding our social bubbles, and I thought I would take this opportunity on Father's Day to have a guest, the man, the myth, the Peter Pan of pops, the healthcare professional, my dad, Lee. How you doing, Dad?
All right, yeah, I'm doing well actually.
Good,
yeah.
good. Happy Father's Day.
Thanks very much, son.
Good. Right, so today we're drinking Lost Lager. I know you're a bit of a lager fan. Would you say that's your go-to style?
Definitely, yeah.
Now, I don't know if you remember, but you've actually had this beer before, Lost Lager from BrewDog. Do you recall when that was?
No, I don't.
So you may not have bought it before, but this was handed out at the end of the Tough Mudder that we did.
Oh, yes, now I do.
Last year at some point.
Yeah.
You'd just been electrocuted as they handed you this this pint. Right, so Lost Lager by BrewDog. I bought these cans literally yesterday, and I've just seen online that there's a new kind of cool, trendy design on the can. So this was literally bought yesterday. Right, so three reasons I bought this beer to you today. One was that you're a lager guy.
Certainly am.
Two was that you had it before, you know, that comical story about Tough Mudder.
Of course, yeah.
That cathartic experience.
Yes.
And three, why would anybody dry hop a pilsner? I want to find out.
Okay.
So this was £4 for £6 in a box from Tesco. BrewDog themselves say that Pilsner is one hell of a beer if done right. So it seems like they think they've done it
Bold
right.
statement.
In fact, this beer was introduced during what they called the Bad Beer Amnesty a few years ago, 2018. They did a Bad Beer Amnesty where you were able to bring your, I guess what would you call it, an international pale lager. You could bring any can of that to a BrewDog pub and have it exchanged for a Lost Lager. So they obviously think that this is the way that lager is supposed to be. And it seems like they're doing stuff right. I mean, they've used a Bohemian yeast, which is traditional for the style of Pilsner. Pilsner, a style originated in the Czech Republic in the town of Pilsen, in the Bohemia region of Europe. They've used traditional hops, so Sart's hops, I believe, are in this. So it's all kind of pointing in the right direction, except that when I went online to research this, they've also used roast barley in it.
Right.
Yeah. So roast barley is kind of really, really key in things like Guinness and darker beers like that. So hopefully it's not going to be too dark.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. And they've also hopped it with, I guess, a German hop, a new German hop called Sophia. Ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
No, neither had I. No, neither had I. So it kind of seems like, I don't know what you think of this, they've taken something kind of traditional in a lager, you know, a Pilsner, that kind of traditional, real nice and bready Pilsner, and just chucked a load of stuff on top of it. Would you agree with that?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, me neither. I guess the only way we're going to find out is by diving in.
Let's do it.
Right, so we're in the glass. We're all nice and cold. Mine's cold. Is yours cold?
Yes.
Nice and cold. First impression is it looks like a lager. Yeah, nice and yellow, the golden colour. It's actually much paler than probably any lager I've ever seen. Actually, it's really like, what colour is that?
Looks very pale yellow.
It's a very pale yellow, yeah.
Limeish. I don't know if that's against the grass.
It could be. It could be. What I find anyway is whatever colour we see looking this way, they never see it looking that way anyway. It always looks different. So yeah, it is kind of reminiscent of something. A lager, maybe. The head retention is quite good. Nice fluffy white head. So Pilsner, the style, is kind of defined, I guess, by a very, very bready flavour, very low aroma, so you shouldn't really be able to smell any yeast characters or even any hops in there. It's all about the malt. So let's see if that carries through with the tasting. Yeah, I mean it smells pretty good as well. I mean, if you
So refreshing.
Yeah, so I guess what you're getting there is you're getting a touch of something called DMS. DMS is this kind of it's almost like a byproduct, I guess, of malt making. So when they make malt, when they kiln the crap out of it and make like dark malts, like the roast barley that doesn't seem to be in this beer, a lot of the DMS kind of burns off. But with the paler malt, it kind of sticks around. And Pilsner being the most pale malt, you can get that almost a corny smell. I don't know if you can smell that. Cabbage or corny.
It just smells very nice.
Smells very nice.
Yes,
All right.
it does.
Well, we won't keep the old man from his drink much longer. Let's dive in. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, very nice.
I mean, I was expecting, like you say, I was expecting this, taking something good and just stuck a cherry on top of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not really getting the cherry on top, and I'm also just getting a pretty decent lager.
Yes. Very nice. I would drink that.
Very good. So the flavour I'm getting, there is that bready character, but it's not too overstated. So other lagers you might drink, naming no names, you can almost taste a slice of bread in it. I don't think that's quite the case here. It's moderately bitter, actually. I don't know what the IBUs are in it, but it's pretty bitter. Would you agree?
Yes, yeah. But very drinkable.
Very drinkable, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, so Pilsner is typically on the kind of maltier, sweeter side of lager, but this is actually quite crisp, I think.
Yeah, very nice.
The head retention's gone now because I've been sticking my lips in it, but yeah, it's pretty good, I think.
It's very nice.
Yeah. So, colour, very pale yellow. Head retention, nice fluffy and white. Aroma, I'm saying DMS, you're disagreeing. You can't get any of that corn in there.
No, it just smells nice. I'm sorry, I say.
It smells nice.
Yeah, it smells very nice.
See whose side you're on, BrewDog's corporate. So the aroma's bready. And the flavour, yeah, it's very drinkable. Almost has a piney character to it if you were to look for it. So typically, this is the part of the show where I would tell you a bit about the brewery, but I've covered BrewDog a few times before, so everybody pretty much knows the story by now. 2007, Aberdeenshire, took over the world shortly after.
Impressive.
Instead, what I'm going to do now is test your BrewDog knowledge. Now, I know you're a BrewDog fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind
I know,
them, but I'm not.
you're a fan. So, I've devised a game, a cleverly titled game I'm calling Brew or False.
False. Yeah.
False. Yeah. That's the first and only time I'll use that thinly veiled pun in this section. So I have here 10 either true brew or false facts about BrewDog, and I just want you to tell me true or false.
Okay.
Number one, BrewDog released all of their beer recipes online for free.
I'll say brew.
Oh. Yeah, that is true. BrewDog released all their recipes online for free in a PDF they call DIY Dog, which sounds good. It's actually a really good way of selling BrewDog beer once you're hooked on it, you know. Number two, BrewDog started making craft hand sanitizer during the 2020 COVID lockdown.
I don't think that's true.
That is true.
Really?
It is true. Yeah. After all the shops and supply chain of hand sanitizer ran out, BrewDog turned some of their distilleries into hand sanitizer plants, and they publicised the crap out of it and got a hell of a lot of good PR from it.
What a good firm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I didn't have the hand sanitizer. I'm sure it was very good. It's kind of weird though. Like people wanted the hand sanitizer just because it was BrewDog. You know what I mean? It was kind of this weird thing. I think in the end they did end up giving it away free to hospitals and key workers. So I can't complain at that. So number 3. The name BrewDog comes from the fact that the brewery started making beer that was friendly for dogs without any hops in them because dogs are allergic to hops.
No, I don't believe that.
No, that's just a fake fact that we made up. But the brewery do, if you go into their pubs, they do make a dog beer, which I'm reliably told is just chicken stock.
Oh. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. It's a nice touch. You can buy your dog a beer.
Yeah.
Right, number 4.
Okay.
BrewDog rebranded their flagship beer Punk IPA to Pink IPA, marketed as beer for girls for International Women's Day.
Normally I would say false, but probably true.
It is
Is
true.
it?
Unbelievably, that one is true.
It's cringy, isn't it?
I know, and when I'm sure they did. What I will say is that this was tied into like a big charity effort. So I think 20% of the sales from Pink IPA went towards women's charities. But it's just such a kind of a really
cringy.
And I think that they saw it in the end as well, that it was actually quite cringy. Right, number 5. The firm, maybe not the brewers themselves, but the company dropped dead dogs from a helicopter over London.
No, I can't see that.
It is false. It was actually cats. They chartered a helicopter to fly over London and drop taxidermy cats over the capital. It was in an effort to say down with fat cats. And
so I missed it a bit, didn't they? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just can't help thinking, like, imagine if a taxidermy cat hit you in the head. You wouldn't care what the metaphor was. It'd kind of just be lost on you a bit, I think.
Yeah. So
that's apparently true. Apparently true, according to a source that I will put in the show notes to remove all responsibility from me on that one. Number 6. BrewDog brewed the strongest beer in the world.
That's a false. I've not got a clue really, but
it's true.
Really?
Yeah, back in I don't know when it was, but in the early days, obviously post 2007, BrewDog brewed the strongest beer in the world. I think it was called Sink the Bismarck. They've since done one called Tactical Nuclear Penguin. The way they did it was by cryogenically removing water from the beer, so it can still be a beer because it's fermented with yeast. It comes from barley. It's got hops in it and stuff like that. But they would cryogenically remove water, which then concentrates the alcohol.
How strong was it?
Very clever. It come out at like 40%, 41% for a beer.
Yeah.
I've sipped it. I've never had you can't buy a pint of it, of course. You buy like little amounts. I've sipped it, and it's very strong, very nice.
Oh.
If you can look for the flavours in it. You have to know what you're looking for in that one, really.
It sounds like it'd taste horrible, actually, but if you say it was
probably not your cup of tea.
No.
Definitely not this pale yellow coloured Lost Lager. Okay, number 7, before this game absolutely loses its sheen. BrewDog launched the world's biggest protest on Parliament.
False.
It's false. They launched what they called the world's smallest protest. They hired a, in their words, dwarf to stand outside Parliament with a sign saying down with measures or something. It was actually quite a cool protest about the way that pubs serve beer in their bars. Until then, pubs had to serve either pints or half pint measures.
Yeah.
BrewDog wanted you to be able to buy 2/3 of a pint of beer or 1/3 of a pint of beer,
right,
and the law was changed after it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Impressive,
I think, as well.
Sure about the stunt, like. Oh.
Yes, the stunt is a little bit on the nose, but it got the job done. I'm sure there was a lot of legal legislation that went behind the scenes as well, a lot of paperwork and admin.
Yes.
Yeah. So, number 8. BrewDog were the first people to invent the beer jacuzzi featured in the Beer Hotel in Ohio, USA.
Well, judging by the other stuff they've done, I'll say yes.
Okay.
True.
Right. That one's actually false.
Oh.
They do have a beer jacuzzi in the BrewDog Hotel for Punks, it's probably called. But they weren't the first ones to do it. Apparently, all over the Czech Republic, you can get a beer jacuzzi. Really? I guess that Bohemian region, beer jacuzzis are a big thing. I don't know why.
Was it hot beer or something that you swim
I guess,
in?
yeah. I mean, it's a jacuzzi. I assume it would be hot. I assume it would be like either dead flat or just like really foamy. Because of the bubbles. Like, it's going to be either way. I don't quite understand
Yeah,
it.
it wouldn't be my cup of tea.
Not your brew.
That's what I meant to say, yes.
Right. Number 9. We're in thin now, but BrewDog launched the Beer Lovers Party, a political party based on the love of beer.
True.
That's false.
Oh,
This was actually
again, just by the zany stuff they've done.
This was actually from a party launched in Belarus and Russia in the 1990s, a political party, the Beer Lovers Party, based on love of beer. And number 10, most salacious one, I think. Did BrewDog serve beer from dead bodies?
No, I couldn't possibly.
That one's true. That was true. God, I wasn't keeping score there at all. I'll put it at the bottom, the score on that one. But they did. There was a beer called The End of History, which was served out of the bottles were kind of embedded in dead squirrels. I'm sure not like freshly dead. I'm sure they're like clean, but yeah. End of History, a beer.
They're pretty out there, aren't they?
They are pretty out there, and this is coming from a fan of BrewDog. They're pretty out there. So that's BrewDog. They have bars all over the country. Go visit them. Right, as I always do when I have a guest, it's time to turn the camera on them for a bit. As I mentioned earlier, this is my dad, Lee, healthcare professional, Peter Pan of Pops. So what I want to ask you, because you're obviously a lager fan, we've established that throughout the show here, the episode, the piece.
Yeah.
Something I'm always interested in to ask people is, what's the best beer you've ever had? I don't mean what's the highest quality beer you've ever had. Like, what's the beer that you've just thought, my God, yes, I needed this, or God, that's good. Just that.
I can think of it now, actually. When I went to Cyprus on holiday and we'd been delayed in the airport, etc., and I don't drink on planes or anything like that. We got to the hotel, and the hotel was closing, and then the very nice lady behind the bar said, "Did you want a drink?" And I said yes. And normally when you go to hotels, the ones I've been to, you get the little plastic cup, but she pulled us a pint of, I don't know if I can say the brand.
I tend not to say it, but a beer in Cyprus anyway.
Yeah, but it was a British beer that we can get over here, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, at the end of that long one day.
And we got that free, and then even stayed and bought 2 more, because after a certain amount of time we had to buy them.
The all-inclusive runs out.
Yeah, and it was that was lovely though.
I can think of a good one actually, along that same vein. If you remember when I was 16, we went to Benidorm. A holiday destination for many in Britain and the north of England.
We went to Benidorm.
Oh, we did. Well, it took us a very long time to get to the hotel, and it actually took us an even longer time to convince the hotel that we had a room there.
Yes.
And after we'd settled on sharing a double bed for the night, we then ventured out into Old Town Benidorm, and we just found a little bar, and like we got a couple of pints of probably Spanish lager, just international light lager we'll call it. And that was a really good time actually, because we were safe. I think it was the safety aspect of it in that particular.
We got chatting to some people, so we felt a bit more.
Just the human contact was necessary.
It was a struggle that way.
It was a struggle.
The neon light flashing in the background. Is that up an alleyway?
I don't know. It seems so far away. The taxi driver just said, "Yeah, it is," and then we sped off. I'm not allowed around here. Yeah, so that was a good time. Okay then, all good things must come to an end, and so too must this special Father's Day edition of Beers of the British Isles, live from the Sun Terrace here in the garden. So let's sum this up. Let's sum up Lost Lager, the dry hopped pilsner from BrewDog. So first of all, the colour is I'd say it's exactly what you'd expect, but it's very, very pale, isn't it? Normally, well, I guess I'm looking at this through the lens of a lager, so a lager would normally be a bit more amber, but now that the more I think about it, a pilsner is potentially more on the lighter side. So yeah, the appearance is very nice anyway. It looks refreshing, doesn't it? The head is nice and fluffy. I'm going to chalk the lack of head retention up to these tumblers that we're using. They're not really proper beer glasses. The aroma, like I said, that DMS, that malty, bready smell. But it has that kind of like spicy punch that the noble hops, those Sarts hops, deliver to it.
I was going to say, if I can say, when you first take a swig, it's like, oh, this is lager, and then it's got that kick of what you'd expect from an IPA,
right.
If you know what I mean, at the back of it.
That's good information to have that, because I'm probably IPA blind at this point, but as a non-IPA drinker,
as a lager man, it's but it's very drinkable. I don't know if that's good or bad.
No, I mean it is. I mean, nice. The strength is kind of right. 4.5%-ish is good. The taste it has that, like I say, that classic kind of spicy, noble hop character. I'm not really getting the dry hops from this, but you say that you are.
I can feel that bite at the end of it. Like,
okay. I mean, it's nice and crisp. It's not too sweet. I would have imagined a pilsner to have a little bit more residual sweetness than this. All in all, very good. So you've had this beer before. How does this one compare to the last one you had?
Well, this is very nice today. The last one I had, which you alluded to, which I'd forgotten about, was at Tough Mudder when we'd just done Tough Mudder.
Sure
which was a hell of a day, wasn't it?
Yes.
But we managed it.
We did.
But I think I'd just been electrocuted.
Just been electrocuted, fresh from the chair really on that one.
Which I wasn't expecting it to be that blasty, if you know what I mean. It was, a big shock. And I'd also been iced, hadn't he? And that ice.
You'd definitely been iced, yeah.
Which that got me as well, didn't it? I couldn't speak or anything. It was awful. But I had a taste when they handed the can, and I had a taste, but I wasn't in the mood for it. But that tastes so much better.
Now that you can savour it, safe in the comfort of your own Sun Terrace. So all in all, I think this is good. It is a good lager. They've done it right. I'm glad it tastes like this. I was a bit worried when, not worried. I wasn't worried. I was a bit sort of. My eyes rolled a little bit when I see dry hopped pilsner, because that's not a traditional thing. But if you actually just take it for what it is, it's a decent lager. I think a decent craft lager by a very good brewery.
Are you a fan of BrewDog then?
I am. Yes, I'm a fan of beers. The whole list of things we went through earlier with all the escapades.
Yeah.
I guess it takes a village, doesn't it, to build a brand? So you need to take those escapades in with the good beers. I once said to someone, the worst thing about BrewDog is that they make really good beers, because it means that you can't hate them.
Okay.
But if that's the worst thing about you, then that's not so bad, is it?
Yeah, no, it's very good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right, guys, get down to, I got this one from Tesco. You can get this everywhere. Maybe even sometime soon, visit a BrewDog bar yourself and get yourself a pint of it. And if you like this, the world is full of lagers. Just go find one. Till then, cheers, Ed. Oh, happy Father's Day.
Thanks very much. See you.